Yo, what's good? It's me, your guy, all the way from Bed-Stuy, Habo, and this is the Art Block, a podcast where we talk about things happening in the art world, hot topics, cool things, and all the stuff that you don't know about. And today with me is the one, the only Jasmine Woods, a fashion designer, a costume designer, and all-around amazing and phenomenal artist. Jasmine, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, hey, I'm good. How are y'all doing? Or you, y'all?
I am doing pretty good and excited to have you on. Um I just want to get straight into like cuz I just came off of watching Stranger Things on Broadway, the first Shadow. And for those of you who don't know, it's a play that was produced by the Duffer brothers, and is connected to the Stranger Things franchise, which is on Netflix right now, and it's essentially a prequel to the series that gives you a little bit of backstory about the adults of Hawkins and also the big villain Vecna. But when I went, the first thing I told Jazz, I was like, yo, the set design, the costume, all these things were so amazing. And because you have a background and history in this, I want to know, like, how stressed do you think those people were trying to get everything just like as accurate as possible?
Um, I believe the stress didn't stop until maybe the first show, truly. And honestly, the way from what you described in terms of production, like I'm sure that show keeps them stressed even now. I think they won't stop stressing about it until after the show is like actually done, like wrapped for sure. But honestly, I would love to know what the production emails were like just the pre-production stuff because I know it was a lot. I know it had to be like so many, almost maybe like a year in advance in terms of like what they set out to do.
Yeah, so with a show of that quality, or even any show, does it typically take a year or more to get it all together, or have you been on productions where it can happen within like maybe a few weeks or a month?
It really depends on the story, you know. Like I've done shows where I was requested like 3 months in advance for costuming, but like the cast was like 100 and something people, and that can be a time crunch in itself, just because unless you have a team of people that can be your stitchers, on top of like maybe having somebody be specifically a dye person, specifically for, repairs and alterations, and then somebody is specifically for like building certain costumes. It can be a lot, like that can be a lot to do in 3 months.
Do they be
Sometimes that
putting
is
you
the
on all the
norm.
jobs? Like, have you been on a production where you're just like, I'm running around, I'm stitching, I'm dying, I'm fixing, I'm this,
Oh
I'm that?
yeah. Oh yeah, there's been a few shows where it's just me, like team of me, and I'll
Damn.
call in reinforcements, but like
Well, like
it's
the
kind of
Avengers?
kind of sort of, like
So you're the Iron
I
Man.
I
You're
have
the, are you
people.
the, no, you would be the Nick Fury of the
Oh
costume
yeah.
because you're bringing everybody together.
Oh yeah, I have a Tony Stark, I have a Captain America, but it's mainly I'm just like, okay, you guys, you got this. I know I can call you because you're fast. I know that I can call you because you know how to do like specific things that I need. It really helps when you have a community of people that sew and like know how to do costume work too. So, but like most of the time it's just me. A lot of the time, especially with like local theater, it can be like that.
And with local theater, do you, how can I ask this? Because I feel like people understand the concept of theater. People understand what Broadway is, right? But do you ever feel like a plastic bag? No. Do you ever feel I can't find the words for it, but it's like a different sense of integrity when you're working on a live production versus, let's say, you put just a piece together that someone wears one time, you know?
I wouldn't say that there's a difference in integrity. I definitely think that both things kind of they exist differently. Like with TV film and commercial work, it can be a different beast altogether. Those productions take a long time, especially film. Film can take up to like 2 to 3 years. From my experience, like even with short films I've done, where we filmed there's a short film going around right now. It's called Cut My Hair Barber. I did with a friend of mine back in like 2014, 2015, and
Mm.
like recently we've been like moving it through the short film circuit and through the film festivals and stuff like that because it took a while just to get the editing process together. The actual filming process took us maybe like a week to do.
Hmm.
um but pre-production took a few months. I have to do sourcing. I also have to coordinate with like the cast members because if
What you
it's,
mean
you
by
know,
sourcing?
short
Because
film.
you be throwing you throwing these words out here that people don't know be knowing. You know, maybe I don't know. I
Okay.
could be covering. I don't know. But what's sourcing?
So for those that don't know, sourcing is when you go out and like you purchase versus like building is when you're making certain costumes. So like um in a lot of theater work, it kind of well, theater and TV film, it really depends. Like for example, Wicked is probably a
Well, well, well. We gotta talk about that
yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, we definitely can because Paul Tazwell did his thing, but like he had a very large team of people. Like he had people that specifically worked on Elphaba's looks, and then he had people that specifically worked on uh the the classmates at Shiz. You know, like there's the word is so ridiculous, but you know what I mean. Like the school. Um but yeah, like that was definitely an example of building. A lot of the costumes that you saw were handmade. They were tailored to each cast member. But the pre-production for that, I'm sure, was probably spanned more than a year prior to, and then on top of that there's fittings, and then there's refittings, and then once they start rehearsals you learn that there's certain things that cast members end up doing through choreography or like whatever, like there's blocking that comes into play, and you have to think about all of those things and then go back to the drawing board. In some instances it can be a lot.
That sounds like a lot of work. And do you feel that because we've seen time and time again across every industry in the creative field strikes, people not being paid fairly, maltreatment, sexual advancement, harassment, all these different things. How often is that experienced in this field versus others, do you think? And do you feel that a lot of folks end up staying because it's like, oh, this is my big break, I have to stay in this play even though I'm not getting paid enough, or maybe this person's being weird to me, I still got to stay on?
um I think my experience is different mainly because I am not in like the bigger spaces. Like I'm not on Broadway. Most of what I do is here in Dallas. There have definitely been some scandal. I don't want to say scandal because that seems dramatic, but like there have
Of
definitely
course
been
you would
some
say scandal,
issues.
Kerry Washington.
You think I look like Kerry Washington. I don't think I look like that lady.
That's your sister, that's not that lady, but go ahead, sorry.
All right, you're right, but I don't look like her. But okay, um, yeah, like there's been a few different issues within the theater scene, but like from like a costumers from the costuming side, it's more of like everybody that I work with that has even had like issues, we're kind of on the same playing field, so it's not like a hierarchy issue. I think a lot of the bigger issues come with like people who donate to these theaters, and like people who
Elon Musk.
Um,
What if Elon Musk was just like the biggest fan of
bro,
musicals? He
oh my
just
God.
funded every yo. That'd be crazy.
It'd be cool, but it would also it takes away from what plays you can and can't do in some instances. Like some donors or grant writers, we had an issue with that earlier this year actually. We got a grant for a production of the Western Shane. Um and our the theater that I work for, Dallas Theater Center, they're very diverse for the most part. We have like a majority Latino, Black cast in a lot of our productions. Um, and for this one, we had a Black Shane, which is the main character. We had, mainly Latino cast
So are you
as
saying, not to
supporting
cut you off, but are you
characters,
saying like this play was originally majority white and then y'all swapped?
Mhm. Like the
Okay.
story is a western and it's typically from a white lens,
Okay.
like there's a, lone ranger that comes into a town and then the town is like small town. They they made certain things stick which were like the main character is Latino, but he's like half Latino, half white. Um and that's kind of a whole story arc in itself about like um the conflict that comes with that, especially when you live in like Wyoming and you're, a rancher in Wyoming. And so you can pass for white. That's way you can get the deed on a house and like land. But like your wife is like obviously Mexican. And so that's like a whole other thing. Like those things were in the story already. But oftentimes the casting could vary. Um, and with the Dallas theater, they have a big Latino voice in their casting, but also just our principal cast members, the ones that literally do show after show after show, typically are Latino, Black, Asian. We're fairly diverse in that sense, but a big issue that came with that this past year was that we had a grant, and then of course with the political leanings that came, uh, Trump was taking funding from grants all over the place. We lost the grant after doing the production, like months after, so the money was already spent. It wasn't like we could give it back. um, and so that's what I mean. Like sometimes we're at the mercy of the people that give us these like grants and give us their donations. And in some instances, they come just because they want to be entertained. And when they see what the shows are about, they can be a little cranky, a little grumbly, and be like, "Oh, I didn't sign up for this," and, da, 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 da. And then it comes, and then like, you end up having a lot of conversations that you're not prepared to have. But at the same time, it's like this is what theater is. This is like part of the art form,
And that's kind of the
which
dark side of this whole experience of being an artist, where you are sometimes at the mercy of people who you may not be that fond of, but because they have deep pockets, you gotta kind of rub their
Mhm.
back a little bit. And it sucks because I personally feel that, because I talk about this all the time and you and I have talked about it, I personally feel that we are at a space, or we are in a place where it's possible, it's not easy, but it's possible to fund our own productions, to fund our own art. Because I would hate to be in a situation where I have to change the integrity of my own work because, Donald Trump or whoever else was like, "Hey, I'm taking this out and I got to rely on X, Y, and Z to get this done." But they say, "Oh, but you need to make this character white, or you need to move this one and make this one lighter." I would hate that. And do you feel or see a future for local theater, specifically at Dallas or just abroad, where that dream could be possible? Do you see it in a do you see that in a space where we can hit up, like, a wealthy Latinx or a wealthy Black, lover of the arts, and be like, "Hey, we want to keep the integrity of the show. You like art, right? Give us the money."
I think a lot of my peers are attempting to do that as we speak. Like there are a few theaters that I've worked for that are n- like that aren't as, I don't want to say big, but as well known nationally as Dallas Theater Center. But then there are places in Dallas that are very well connected just because of the people that started those theater companies. You feel me? So, like, there are two black owned theaters that I work with a lot, mainly Soul Rep Theater and Bishop Arts Theater. I've worked with them. They were actually the people that got me my first show, like back in like 2017 or whatever.
Hey,
Shout
shout
out
outs
to
to them.
them. But Soul Rep Theater is one that is very well connected. They have worked with and have mentored so many people that have come, that have become like great playwrights and other great actors and artists that are moving throughout the theater space now, that often come back and contribute, try to donate as, you know, as much as they can. There's a there are also connections through like the HBCU universe. And, shout out to Howard University. A lot of people that graduated from there often, link up and try to be um, more communal and like, uh, share what they have donation wise, sometimes with their time, promotion, those sorts of things. So yeah, I think it's on a trajectory. We just need, I think we just need more voices in these spaces because that helps. But yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah,
I
no, it
don't
does.
know.
Our Soul Rep and you called it, what was it, Bishop Gallery?
Bishop Arts Theater
Bishop Arts
is
Theater. I don't know why I got where I got gallery from, but are those the only two
oh
black owned in
no,
the area?
there's also Jubilee Theater in Fort Worth. Dallas and Fort Worth kind of are, they're not the same city as
Okay.
people like to call it DFW, but when it comes to like theater, a lot of us are in community with each other. So there's a bunch of theaters in Fort Worth, there's a bunch of theaters in Dallas, and we all kind of cycle around in these different theaters. But a big majority of the black theaters that are like together or that are very much in community with each other, Soul Rep Theater, Bishop Arts, and Jubilee Theater out in Fort Worth. And Jubilee Theater tends to put on a lot more musicals. They have a lot of music heavy shows, and they have a lot of talented singers and vocalists that come out of there. So like it's always so cool to like get to work with them because like I'm surrounded by just singing ass singers. Like they're just always like doing vocal runs and being silly, and like it's a great environment, and like the people there also really want you to like grow, and like they'll put you in other places. Even if you like, if your talent is one thing, they'll be like, I feel like you could do something else. And they'll be like, let's see if you can do this other thing. It's really cool. It's really, really fun.
That's awesome. And I'm sure you've worked on, I'm sure every play or musical you've worked on, you've enjoyed and loved. But are there any that have stood out the most to you and resonated with you just on, not just on the costuming side, but with story and just the aesthetic?
Yeah. So one of the first plays I did when I came back from the pandemic was this show called What to Send Up When It Goes Down. The real title is What to Send Up When Shit Goes Down. And a, it's like, it's like a homegoing service. It was very, very spiritual, very black, very, it dealt with themes around like police brutality, um how to grieving not just like people who died, but also like our blackness in other spaces, how we deal with whiteness in the day to day, and that whole just experience from the beginning to the end was very very powerful. It was one of those instances where we were working for a white theater company, but the company basically was like, we're gonna step back and let y'all take the reins, basically.
Y'all
So we
niggas got
had
it.
but not in like not that way, you know, like they were like, yeah, we really want to respect this work. Because like they picked it, and it was reading it, I was like, whoa, this is
Wait, are you
intense
saying
even
the
for
white theater company picked that particular?
because they had saw it in like they had seen it in New York when it debuted, and they were
Okay.
like, this would be amazing work to actually introduce to um Fort Worth and Dallas in general, because more people need to have these discussions, and we, especially here, need to start having those discussions, especially with we need to be confronting that with the white people that give us money all the time, and so they were like, we're gonna, the we want all black designers, we want all black cast, of course, we want all black production team, like everything was, they gave us the reins and the money and the funding, like all to us, and they were just like, you get the space, if you need us for anything, let us know, but like, we're hands off on this, and you take it from there. And just everything from that point on just felt really really special and really really grounded and whole, to the point where by the time I finish designing, I don't actually have to be at the shows once I'm done. I was going almost every show just because I was
That was your
just in
sentence?
love.
That was your
Kind of,
sentence.
sorta. It was my sentence. I mean, I didn't have to pay because I worked it, but
Right.
like, it was just because I was so enamored with just everything that we did. And also, I felt like a kinship with everybody, to the point like we were doing like almost reunion style meetups for a while. Like it got it got really 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 intense, and like that usually doesn't happen. Like once you're doing a show, like you bond with a cast, you bond with like a production team or whatever, even from like a backstage standpoint. Like I've bonded with people, but it wasn't to the point where like everybody felt like a cousin by the end of it. And like that was one of my favorite shows to do, and it's a standout show just because, one, it was like my first one back, and like being trusted with the process. I was like working with people that I've grown up around, but like they were adults for a big point in my life, and then like I got to be their peers, which was different because it's like you've seen me since I was like a baby, and now like we're on the same level, like career wise, and I love that. And like I got to get like just so much wisdom, and like just it was just a lot. It was a lot, and I loved it, and I would do it again. And if I could like capture that and put it in a bottle and redo it, I would do it every time.
I love that because there's just like absolute joy spread across your face by just talking about it. Even the thought of it, I could just see it light up in your eyes, and that's something that's so rare to not only be around the kinfolk, but to be around the kinfolk in a creative space where everybody is moving upward, and you're creating something that is just beautiful, for lack of a better term. Um, do you find it difficult to, well, I guess there, because you already said that you have the black theaters, um where you are putting on productions together, but do you find it difficult to have consistent spaces like that in general, like just across the board?
Well, I mean, like I was saying, that particular thing, even though I I kind of got spoiled in a way because that was like my first thing back
Yeah.
as a designer. Um, that usually doesn't happen. Even with the black owned theater that I've worked with, sometimes they invite other designer, like invite white people to do like sound design or like,
The way you use like
you know,
white people, you know, with the
white
white
people,
people,
you know,
you know.
white people. No, I mean like, and these are some of my peers too. Like some of them are like cool. Like I'm cool with a lot of people, but it's rare that you get all black from top to bottom in in a theater space. Just because you gotta work with everybody, and that's just how it is, but yeah, like those, I don't want to call them HBCU moments, but like those moments where you're really in community, but like in an artistic way with everybody being black. It's different, it's rare, but it's special, and you usually feel it when it happens. Because I've done other projects where the show and the cast and everything was like blackety black black black, and then of course you have like your sprinkles of like, and we rocking with Mark because Mark is rocking with us. Like it's like, yeah, no, y'all cool, but like at the same time, if this was like a different person, like if this was a black person doing the lighting, or if this was a black person doing set design, what would that idea look like? Like we did my favorite show of this year, uh just content wise, was a show called Ain't No Mo Ain't No Mo by Jordan E.
You had to put
Cooper.
some sauce on that for a second. You was like, wait a
You
minute now,
gotta say,
wait a
yeah,
minute now.
you gotta say it because it's written saucy.
Yeah,
um but like that show is just like a variety of skits, all dealing with blackness in different ways. um but like we had a white lighting designer, white set designer, and it was funny because like during our production
I don't know why I
meetings,
thought white light sounded funny to me in my head. White lighting sound like
white
a
lighting,
'70s porno star or something, or like a wrestler.
that's crazy.
Ladies and
White
gentlemen,
lighting,
coming to the ring. He hates.
white
No,
light.
we stop.
All
It's
right.
white light.
White lighting, he's shedding the light on. No, but yeah, like the set designer was, he kind of looked to some of my references and some of the things that I pulled for a lot of costume pieces. He took those references, and like he asked, and he was like, yeah, oh, is it cool if I like look at some of the references that you've pulled, da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, sure. I would prefer that use that in more like to be more authentic about it. And then like he went and saw Sinners and then was like, I have so many ideas. It was very funny. But it was also like very white, know? like it was, there were things that I was already referencing that I was like, I'm thinking about cotton fields, I'm thinking about Sankofa symbols, or Adinkra symbols, I'm thinking about mud cloth, I'm thinking about like batik fabric, I'm
Yo,
thinking
low
about
key, I just realized your hair kind of looks like an Indinkra symbol. When you went like this, it kind of looked like that one. You know, the one that's kind of like it's like a circular shape and it's got the little patterns on the inside.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I need to be better about knowing the actual names of them because I only know Sankofa, which is the bird, and then the heart shape one.
I use the
But I need
Girafa
to
in
be
mine a
better.
lot. The one that looks like a pick.
Mm,
It's got the eye and then the yeah.
hmm Yeah, I need to be better about remembering the names.
It's
But
all good. It's a
yeah,
learning
like
process. It's a learning process. How
I know.
do you see or how do you feel? No, let me ask it this way because you just mentioned that the guy saw centers and was like, "Oh, I have so many ideas." How often do you feel that other forms of art influence plays and vice versa? Like, what do you feel the symbiotic relationship is for that?
Oh, I definitely think I think it's all an ecosystem, really. So like we all took a little bit from Sinners in for that show.
Y'all
It was
clan?
very funny. I mean, there were certain things that even the cast was doing that was like mirroring certain scenes, certain like inflections and all of that, you know? And
He did it so crisp because you could hear like the little poof of air.
yeah. Hmm. Being kind to one another. But like there are certain things that you'll see reference to like in certain people's script writing. Like, there's just things that Black people do that we reference either from music, from TV. Like I've seen what is it? What show is that? I'm forgetting the show. But there have been like things where a cast member will do something or like related to like Friday or like have like little parts of other movies that we all know and we reference. Like even, you know, I know it's controversial, but like Medea plays and and Medea movies,
Nah, them
those,
plays used to hit. Let's be
yeah, they
real.
used
Everybody
to.
was bootlegging them in middle school, and we was all coming back
Oh, for
quoting.
sure. Listen, my dad had a stack of the Medea plays
Yeah,
at one point. Like he brought them into the house, and we was just like, "This is what we're doing now. This is what we're watching." Um, but like even those, it had references to things that we all understood in like pop culture or like through, whether it was a song, whether it was a movie quote or whatever. It like made its way into these writings, so like for stage. And we've been doing that for forever as Black people. I feel like it happens in other, avenues too. I feel like it happens in other stage plays, other Broadway shows, but it's different when it's us, because it's like
yeah. We add flavor to
it's
everything.
us.
That's why
Yeah,
everybody loves us. Well, everybody loves us and steals from us.
yeah. Okay, so this is random, but it just made me think of this one time. uh Sterling K. Brown? Yeah, Sterling K. Brown had won something for an award show, and I can't remember what the award was, but then he shouted out his wife, and he was like, she's like, she does something to my, it was like she's a yank in my chain or something like that. He made a joke, and then like the whole crowd laughed. It was it was so silly. It was very, very Black uncle,
Yeah,
and like I remember after that, three other white people got on stage and made the exact same joke. Like they kept calling back to that joke. And it was so funny because I remember sitting there with my mom. I was like, dang, we really can't have nothing. Like we'll do like one thing, and if like, if a certain group of people like it,
they
they just
still copying. They stay copying our homework. That actually makes me, yo. I wonder. I'll ask you since you're here because you're the play theater expert. Have there been plays that have been stolen and reappropriated by white people that went on to be like big hits?
I I actually don't know. I am more of I'm still fairly green in the space of theater.
You could have fooled me. You could
I
have fooled me.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm more of like a theater novice. Um,
Okay.
I in terms of like knowing a whole lot of plays and stuff. I know the things that I like, and I know
Yeah.
what shows that I've experienced, but I couldn't tell you in terms of like if there was a playwright who did a show and then it got picked up by like a white theater company, or like somebody or another, like maybe another playwright was like, I'm gonna take that. Like I don't know. I won't say it doesn't
Give it another
even
like couple years. There's gonna be a White Panther,
exist.
a White Panther
White
play.
Panther on Broadway though.
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah. That's the only way they're gonna
I
get
can
away
see
with it
that,
because nobody. Because
bro.
if you think about it, them superhero
Nobody's gonna
people they're not
adjust.
watching plays like that, so they can get away with it easily. And they're like, we just wanted to do something different. We wanted to really take the art form and give it something a little different. Just something different. You know.
Not for nothing. I think the way things are going, you might end up seeing more like superhero movie watchers coming to uh theater spaces
What you
for
mean by
different
that?
shows. Like, okay, so we have the Stranger Things experience now, right?
Right.
Like that is bringing in a whole new demographic that isn't just theater people. Like this is bringing in the people that love Stranger Things. Not everybody that loves Stranger Things goes to see theater. And now you have that as like a new avenue to reach a different audience. We've had plays we there have been plays that are that were centered around Marvel characters. I think they had a Spider-Man the musical at one
That's
point.
right. They did. I think it was on ice. It was like Spider-Man on
Mhm.
Ice here on Broadway. It was years ago. I never saw it, but I
I
remember
remember that one.
seeing like
Yeah.
a poster or something for it next to like Harry Potter like years ago. You're right. I
I
wonder if it
remember
did well.
that
I don't even. I
because
never heard anything about it.
I only knew about it because there was so much controversy about it being so dangerous because
Yeah.
they kept losing Spider-Man just
Yeah.
because like the rigging and everything was like was it was a dangerous show. Like it was a tech heavy show, but it was also dangerous because of what they had the main character doing. And rigging and flying through the air is not uncommon in a lot of shows. Like, they have Peter Pan, they have uh I'm blanking on like
They
other
had
shows,
people
but like
floating up in Stranger Things. There was stuff happening there. I was just like, oh, how
exactly.
are they doing that?
Yeah, like rigging is not uncommon. Having people fly through the air in a show is not uncommon. Like I've seen it not just in like theater, but I've seen it in ballet spaces. I've seen it so often that it's like one of those things that it can work, but for some reason it just was not working for Spider-Man. Like they were getting hurt so much. I want to like go back and look at like footage
It's probably on YouTube.
and oh, for
We
sure.
could probably find
It
it
was
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube
We
when it was
probably find.
happening.
Ooh, we could probably find the whole thing on YouTube, like from start to finish. Because
Probably.
low key just found out, because you know how it is, art, and we'll
Oh,
get
yeah.
into this conversation about accessibility and art, and how certain things just are too out of reach for people, so they end up doing things that are, quote unquote disrespectful or illegal or whatever the case may be. Come to find out, there's like mad bootlegs of the Stranger Things play on YouTube, and they have it. I'm not going to tell you the name because I don't want to like cause any trouble, but they have it under like a really weird name, and there's like a bunch of different accounts that have done the same thing. And I remember asking you the other day like how you felt about that, because we grew up watching Medea on bootlegs. So like we would have never known and had the same culture around Medea had people not gone in there and started recording with their camcorders. So but now that I'm an artist and I work professionally and I have friends in different industries that do these things, now I'm in a different mindset of like, I understand why people bootleg, but at the same time I'm like, this can possibly hurt or disrespect the art form too. So how do you feel about that, particularly when it comes to plays?
I definitely feel the same way. Um, I I have kind of like I'm half and half on it really because my nose isn't clean. I've definitely watched bootlegs of certain shows. I've seen clips of certain Broadway shows. Just because you're not always gonna get the original cast. You're not always gonna get to see like it from from the vision that it was like when it first was like imagined, like bringing it back to Wicked for a second. I watched the original Adina Menzel Kristen Chenoweth version on YouTube, but that was
Mm.
like way like years after it had already been off Broadway as well. Like it hadn't been a show for a while. But I remember me
Wait,
and my
when did
roommate
Wicked
were
go off?
talking
I thought it
about it.
always like existed, or no?
So productions don't stay they don't stay on Broadway um consistently. Like there are certain shows like The Phantom of the Opera was one of those shows that
Yo, I used to see
stayed.
the commercials for that all the time. That and
But
Cats, they would play the commercials for those two
yeah,
every day on TV.
Yeah, and both of those, like, they recently had a retirement. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's it called? Phantom of the Opera just stopped. Like, they just lowered the curtain for that one.
Oh,
Like,
like
they're
for
not
good, they're
doing,
gone. That's it.
like, they're like, we're done.
Wow.
So
Damn.
that, and
That
that
just made
was
me feel
like,
something. I never seen it, but like I remember growing up seeing the commercials. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I feel old.
yeah. And that was one of those things. It was pretty big because everybody was like, "Oh, we're not. Oh, they're not. They're putting it down. They're taking it down. They're not doing it anymore." And like it was a big deal. And so like that happens often with a lot of shows, even ones that are popular. So like Wicked was very popular.
Popular. I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
That was completely unintentional,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
appreciate you catching it. But yeah, like it happens, just so to say. I don't remember when they actually stopped, but I know it stopped for a while. And like that's also a reason why it's in theaters now because after a certain point you can I don't know what the time frame is for certain shows like when you can actually get the rights to certain shows, but I know like when they're in production you can't do anything. Like you couldn't also do Wicked while Wicked is on stage in Broadway. Or if you could, it's gonna be really, really hard to get the rights for it. Like, because I remember asking a friend of mine, I was like, "Ooh, I wonder if anybody's gonna be able to do the newest version of The Wiz, like to like do it in a theater out here at some point, and or even just like an original version, like the not the newest version, but just the original storyline." And I just remember getting like met with like a couple of chuckles, like, "Girl, we can't get the rights to that right now." Like,
Oh,
it's
they
like,
got that
yeah,
on
no,
lock.
I get it. Oh yeah, yeah.
Who owns
It's
it?
a that
Is it
I
a
could
group
not
of
tell you.
people or something like that?
I can't tell you just because I don't know.
You know who owns
I'm
it?
I'm
Rashida
still learning.
Jones. Rashida Jones owns it.
You're right.
Rashida Jones is
You're
like,
you're
we're not
so
going to
right.
release
She's
this
got
until we have
everything.
a Parks and Rec reunion.
I'm screaming. Nah. Well, The Wiz was a play before it was the movie.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah, I just showed my ass. Yeah, you're right. You're
No,
right.
no, no.
I
You're good.
forgot. I
You're good.
forgot because there was a whole controversy about the original Dorothy from the play
Mhm.
who was supposed to
Yeah.
be in the movie, but then Michael Jackson was like, "I want Diana. I love her. Can we get Diana?" And then she ain't pay him no mind.
I'm screaming. Their relationship was very strange, and I
Stranger
just
things have happened.
ha ha
We
ha
can
ha
both
ha
do
ha. I see
callbacks.
what you did
Hey,
there.
hey, we 2 for
I see
2.
what you did there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, like theater and TV kind of have a similar ecosystem, but like all of the politics around like when you can do certain shows, what shows you can or cannot do, who you can, you know, r- I'm still I'm still learning the ins and outs of that. I would love to know more about it just because, there are certain shows that I want to do, but I don't know when I would get a chance to do them just because of like just the just the contracts and the politics of it all.
Well, there are certain things that go into public domain every year, and there's like a
Mhm.
whole it's like what's it called? Fire sale? What's that thing called where everybody's just like, "Woo, let's get everything." It's a fire sale, right? So every year there's this big thing where it's just like public domain day. Everybody snatch up whatever you can. That's why we ended up having like the Winnie the Pooh horror movie and the Bambi horror movie and the Mickey Mouse. Like everybody want to do a horror movie. So there
Mhm.
may be a chance at some point, depending on the longevity of the copyright and everything, that the Wiz or whatever
Mhm.
other thing that's in the theater circuit will be public domain at some point. That will happen. But I do also know that the reason why we get remakes and reboots and rehashes is because they want to keep the trademark, keep the copyright in the loop.
Mhm.
That's why you have like Fuller House. That's why we've seen so many video games get remakes and reboots. That's why you have so many franchises like what just got a reboot recently? Some movie franchise got a reboot recently. I can't think off the top of my head, but there's a bunch of them. Like they dime a dozen. But
Yeah.
that's how they keep it in the family, so to speak. So we
Yeah.
have to watch out for that too. Because I know people want to see the Wiz again. I know people definitely want to be a part of it, but if whoever owns it has got like the tight grip on it, we might not see it. The best thing you could do is just get like a bootleg copy off of YouTube from the original play or something like that.
I mean, the original play is on YouTube. There's, like, the actual like, the OG, stage play is
And
on
how do you?
YouTube. I
Is it
don't
like
know
officially, or is that like a bootleg copy?
so
Because how do you feel
oh,
about?
no,
Because
it's
I
under
think you
my
said the
watch
other
list.
day. Because I think you said the other day, like you feel like it's okay when it's up after the final curtain call, but if it's currently out, it's like, all right, nah, I
Yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah, I think because it kinda goes back to accessibility, right? There's certain things that just to me, I think once the curtain has closed on a certain show, you should be able to access it and be able to see it, especially in its, original form. Sometimes productions do put those out. Sometimes they have like, you know, um, what do they call it? I'm blanking on the name. But sometimes they'll actually film a show and have it, you know.
Because that's how we got Hamilton.
Mhm.
That's how they were
Sometimes
put
that
Hamilton on Disney. I wish they would do that
mhm.
for all, because I feel
Me
like
too.
one, if they did do that, they could make more money, because if that's what they're concerned about, they could make more money off of Blu-ray or app sales.
Mhm.
You know how many people
And
want to see the original Wicked or Little Shop of Horrors or whatever the case may be. Like that would kill.
mhm. Yeah, and it's happened before, like, my introduction to theater was when I was 5 and I saw Cats on PBS. And then, like, it was a filmed version. It wasn't the original. I don't believe it was the original cast, but it was one of the more popular casts. They showed the whole thing on PBS, like from beginning to end, and then afterwards, of course, they were selling tapes. And my mom bought it for me because I begged her for like a version of Cats because I wanted to see it again. And so, like, it's not uncommon, but it also doesn't happen as often as it should, I think. And I think that's why, like,
Which is
Hamilton was so
stupid.
special. It's
It's really
crazy.
stupid. But honestly though, because you just said like how certain shows have different casts, like if it did come out again, I wouldn't want to go see
Mhm,
it unless it had the original cast, because I'm so infused with the original Hamilton cast with Daveed
mhm,
Diggs and all the other folks. I'm just like, this feels weird. Like I remember seeing like a clip of, I think they had a performance in the UK, and I was like, who? Wait a minute, who are you? That was how I was feeling. I was like, nah, we don't need that. Give me uh what's his name? Lin Manuel, when his crying ass singing, "Oh, not gonna make my shot." Like, oh my god, he kills me,
I
man.
can't.
He kills me.
It's so funny, like, the theater people I know, they're like, "Oh my god, Lin-Manuel Miranda cannot
He
sing." But,
cannot.
Hamilton was good.
No, Hamilton
Like,
is dope. And it's weird
he talks
because
things for sure.
there's like this duality to it, because it's like this is a play about white people from
Right.
history who most of them owned slaves or did some really messed up shit. And we're just putting black
Mhm.
folks in here dancing and spinning around and singing like rap and
You
R&B
know?
style songs. I'm just like, I don't know how to feel. This is weird, but I like it. And I was crying at the end. Like it was just
I'm
so many different
screaming.
emotions. Also,
Yeah.
I think they were the first production that created that circular stage, which was used in the Stranger Things play I just saw. This video is brought to you by the generous contributions of viewers like you. Head over to patreon.com/habtunes for more details and consider joining today for just $1 a month. Okay, favorite. No, I'm gonna start with worst film to play adaptation. Or no, matter of fact, first worst play to film adaptation and then best.
Wait a minute. Um, this I did not like the NBC version of The Wiz, the production that they put on. I
Why?
Was not a fan. I was not a
Why? I
fan.
like that one. Neo
There
hat
were
falling
certain
off. You remember that? Neo hat fell off.
I did see that. Um,
I got that on
there were so
DVD.
many things. Oh. I personally do not talk about that one, when I'm referring to how much I love The Wiz. You know, I was like, "Neo didn't need to be here." And then
Do do
also
do 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 do.
the casting was an interesting choice.
Say what you really want to
And
say. You were talking about some interesting choice. That's the nice way of saying that shit was nasty. Why they do that?
I I so, like, okay, I love Mary J. Blige. I do not think she's the best actress, and I did not think she was the best actress for, to play Eveline, which was, it happened. I personally was like, "Why didn't they put Queen Latifah in the Eveline role? Why didn't they make David Alan Grier, um, the Wiz, and why did they make, um why did they cast Mary J. Blige at all?"
Wait,
But,
who was the
like,
Wiz in that again? I can't remember.
Queen Latifah. And again, love her. I think it would have been cool to have a female Wiz, but like her actual song was too low for her register. And so it just didn't work for me. I was like, there's so much here that is just not working.
And I was
And
gonna
it
make
could
an
have been,
excuse and say they got those people for the names, but it's like you could have chose different folks that were like current at least. Because I don't
yeah,
understand those choices either. I wasn't mad at them like you are, but I just I didn't. I definitely didn't register that as like, oh, okay, these don't add up.
like mad is a stretch. I wasn't mad. I was just like, this
Okay.
isn't this isn't I was like, this is something I will never revisit. I promise you. And that was just one of those things. Wait, what is this? Oh, that's the blender. That's why. But yeah, my favorite play to film adaptation. Hmm. I haven't really seen one that I like.
Damn.
Well, no, I take that back. I did actually enjoy The Color Purple. I was
I
thrown off a
forgot
little
that was a
bit.
play because I grew
Yeah,
up. Well, I never watched it, but I grew up just knowing the movie.
yeah. I I'm gonna rewind again and go with Dreamgirls. I really enjoyed the
Dreamgirls will
the
never leave you.
yeah, I think Eddie Murphy really did deserve an Oscar for that. The fact that he didn't get one is kind of crazy. But, like I think that there were a lot of people that really understood what the original show was. They paid homage in the ways that they were supposed to, or in the ways that made sense. Um, you know, and then also Chicago. That's actually one of the movies, plays to movies that I actually really enjoyed and made me kind of fall in love with costume design. Anyway,
Mm.
it's on my big three, one of my big three in
Motherfuck
terms
the big
of
three. Oh, I can't even talk. Motherfuck the big three, nigga. It's just big me, nigga. Bam. All right, what's the big three? So it's the Wiz, Chicago, and what?
Aida.
I never heard of that one. Aida.
Aida uh is a story about a Nubian princess who falls in love with an Egyptian prince. Um it was a musical written by, well, it was there's an opera version of it, and then um Elton John did a musical version, and it was really, really popular in the early 2000s. I remember seeing promotion for it and being like, "Whoa, this is cool." Um, and yeah, it was a really, really dope production. And then one of my cousins got to be in a local version of it,
Whoa.
like in like 2008. 8.
Okay.
And I remember watching it again and being like, "Yeah, no, I really do love this musical. Like, it's a good one."
Let's go,
Um,
cuz.
mhm. I have, 2 very talented theatrical cousins, and one of them, she's in, they're in New York now, um, but when they graduated, like, when they were, like, 18, their first show was, Hairspray.
Oh.
So
Oh, yeah, that was a movie too.
mhm, that turned into a movie, uh, and then the girl that played, um, the main character was her is her real name Nikki something something. She kinda went off the deep end. She was
Yeah,
kinda
didn't she is
crazy.
she didn't she come out as, like, racist or something like that?
Uh,
Or some other
so
weird
she
shit?
had yeah, she got into it with a former contestant on America's Next Top Model at the
Oh.
airport, and
Oh.
her dad was being racist, and then
Oh.
she kind of also was racist. So, like,
Oh.
it was weird. I remember the scandal about it. I was like, "What is this? This is so random. Why is
Scandal.
everybody so weird right now?"
Olivia Pope just can't leave your mind, huh?
I'm so tired of you.
I'm so tired of you. Okay, so Aida, Chicago, and The Wiz. Mine.
Wiz. Yeah.
Well, I've only seen a small handful of plays, so I don't really have as much acumen as you do. But for me, I would say the ones that I've seen are all amazing. So I saw Head of Passes, and that was Felicia Rashad at the Public Theater. I saw
Mm.
that. I think I want to say like maybe 6, 7 years ago, 6, 7. Um, and it was amazing. Like the set design was really cool. Like they had some extraordinary practical effects for such a small stage, and I was surprised at that. Like I've never seen a play in person, so I did not know the level of production that y'all could have in that space because I usually see big grandiose things happen on film and TV. So I'm like, damn, how y'all did that? Because they flipped like the whole stage. Like I don't know how they did it, but they flipped the stage, and it was just like this because it was like a spoiler alert. There was like a landslide, and like the whole
Okay.
house like tilted, and then she was like underwater or something like that, and it was crazy how they made it look like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that one, I can't think of anything else top of my head. Was obviously the Stranger Things show I just saw. Lion King. I feel like I'm just giving like
Oh, yeah.
really basic ass answers. Like Lion, of course, Lion King. You see that, you gotta like it.
No, I mean, I don't know who doesn't like it, but, like, I've heard every time anybody's gone to see it, I've heard that it's always phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, I have a friend whose sister is currently one of like a dancer,
What?
in King, yeah, on the in the touring, version of it right now.
Oh, I didn't even know it was touring. I thought it only just
Mhm.
stayed here.
Mm-mm, there is a touring company that also, uh, is currently out doing The Lion King right now.
That's cool. Okay,
Um,
so what
but
about let's do the inverse. Other media that have become plays. If you've seen any, what are some of your favorites? So that could be books, it could be TV shows, films, video games,
yeah.
whatever.
I actually did like Mean Girls when it became a musical.
Oh
I thought it was
yeah.
yeah, I thought it was really fun. I think there were a lot of, uh, people that were like, "Well, is this gonna work for a musical?" But then the songs that they used and just, like, it became really, really cool. I There's another show, that I've wanted to see. It was, I think it's based off of Sheila E.'s life. daggone it, now I can't remember the name of it, but
Daggone it.
I wanted to see that one. Um, it looked really interesting and really cool, and I thought it was gonna be, cool how, like, how they would turn it into a musical, you know?
Mhm.
Um, then, of course, one of my favorite movies is Death Becomes Her.
Oh, yeah,
That
that's
movie
out
is
right now.
hilarious, and it's out right now. I oh my gosh, I wanna see it so bad, but, especially right now because Michelle Williams is in it, and
Like,
I've
Michelle Williams?
seen
Michelle
how
Williams?
yes, like, former Destiny's Child member Michelle Williams.
Oh. Why you
She
said it like we
plays
was on a sitcom where they say the whole name?
'cause you did that, 'cause you said it like that. You said Michelle
We're a
Williams or
90s
something.
sitcom.
There's
Notorious B.I.G., Grammy Award winning Notorious B.I.G., what are you doing here?
yes, the very
Oh.
same. Is that Mandy?
Who? Nah.
Oh, okay, it's just she
Mandy
just
doesn't have
got
a
the hair.
monobrow.
She doesn't. It's given like a mix between Mandy, a Powerpuff Girl, and,
Helga?
Helga Pataki.
Yeah. That's the new show. You got me. That's my new show coming out to HBO Max, straight to digital.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so
I love it.
who are like the no matter of fact, obviously gotta bring this up every time I talk on the art block or anything. Do you
Mhm.
feel that AI is going to affect your industry in any way? And if it already has, like what's going on?
Um, so far, I have not experienced AI affecting the theatrical world.
Hmm.
I know it's coming, and I'm pretty sure there are people in the spaces that I occupy that either use AI for certain things or are like starting to.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if it would affect how I build, or anything like that, but, I know from, like, a writing perspective, it definitely has, the potential to be an issue, in, like, terms of, uh, you know, certain design, things like stage design, set design, um but also lighting and just a lot of different things like that, like where you have to do 3D renderings um, or you're required to have certain cues and uh, sorry, I got distracted. Like having things queued up. My bad. Having things queued up, definitely, I'm sure people are using AI to like simplify that process. I don't know how it's gonna affect them in the long run.
Hmm.
I think there are gonna be certain things that might end up being more, um, not obsolete, but it definitely can hurt what people, like, want to do in the future. I've seen people be like, "Oh, if you grab a hold of this technology now, you won't be left behind." But then it's like, "Okay, but what exactly are you doing
It's the way of the
after a
future.
certain"
It's the
you
way of the
know?
future. It's the way of the future. If you catch that reference, then you're gonna get a free Happy Meal. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Do you know where that's from?
I I don't. Unfortunately, I think
So there was a
it
movie.
sounds familiar,
Uh huh.
but I can't place it.
So there was a movie that came out a long time ago with Leonardo DiCaprio in it, and I think this was around the time where he was still like just booking shit left and right. And it was called
Mm.
Aviator and was based off a real person. I don't remember the name of the person,
Oh,
but he had
yeah.
like a medical condition, like I think it was a mental illness that he was fighting. And like at the
Mhm.
end of the movie, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, he starts like repeating himself over and over again. And he keeps saying the way
Yes.
of the future, the way of the future, the way of the future, and that's like the start of like the decline of his mental, cognizance. I believe. I don't know what
Yeah.
happens after that, but that seems what they're that seems to be what they were implying.
I have seen that movie because I remember at one point he gets like full naked and he's just like standing in front of his fireplace.
Yeah.
Howard Hughes is who it's based off of.
Oh,
He was
got
a
you.
airplane person. I know words.
He was an aviator.
Yeah, he was the aviator. He
Yeah.
was the guy, you know.
Yeah. Do you feel that it's difficult for people in your industry, costume designers, everyone that's like behind the scenes to make a living?
I think if you're only doing one thing, yeah, for sure. Uh, and it's also it's one of those things where for me, I've had a difficulty with trying to have more of a lucrative career as a designer. Um, just doing local shows because you know the theaters that I work for, they're not like big budget, places. And even the places with the bigger budgets sometimes can be, like the money's not always allocated to the designers. Sometimes it's allocated to just keeping the lights on. And depending on the theater, that can be a higher budget than just actually putting on a production. Uh, but I know for me, it has been a little tough, especially if I just want to do design work. I find that I have to load up a couple of shows at a time, have something kind of down the line, or have, part-time job. I currently have a full-time job that takes up most of my time. But and that kind of sucks, but you
But you gotta eat.
gotta do, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta pay bills and all that.
Niggas gotta
But
eat. Hungry.
oh my god.
Do you think it's
But
possible though to be in that field and maintain something that can sustain you without having to do extracurricular gigs
I
or jobs?
I think there's potential. I think it comes with a bigger conversation though.
And what is that
Um,
conversation? Like what do we need to do to get to that place where it's just like, hey, I'm a costume designer at Dallas Theater and this is my only job because it actually pays me and I get benefits and yada yada yada.
I mean, the conversation around like benefits, the conversation around like, do we keep a principal designer in this theater? Because like some places they literally hire you for a show and then they leave and then you leave. And then there are other theaters, like I've worked under a designer who was the costume designer at a children's theater, and that was his only job. And before that he was a wardrobe, uh he did like a lot of backstage work, all of that leading up to. And then he has since been the costume designer of uh, that children's theater, but also, nobody else
My bad. I was all up
designed.
in your space. I didn't even realize that.
Oh no,
Like
it's
I just
okay.
zoomed out. I
Yeah,
had all this space over here on the other side. My bad. Let me go over
it's
here.
okay. You just wanted to see what I had going
Yeah,
on,
the
and I think it
planets was those
works.
that planet right there. Saturn, I
Yeah,
believe that is. It was really drawing me close. But I'm gonna go back to my other side of the
got
galaxy.
you. Listen, nah, you're good. You're good. Get over here. Get in the galaxy.
Get over here. Okay,
Get
Scorpion.
over here.
Ooh, would
All
there
are
be a
welcome.
video game? I'm all over the place. I'm just
Ooh,
so excited to talk to you about like theater and musicals and stuff. Is there a video game that you think would make a really good stage play or musical?
I'm trying to think. Um, hmm. My brain just went to Moonwalker. I don't know if you
Of course, you would
remember
go
the
to Michael
Moonwalker
Jackson.
series.
Of course, you would go to Michael Jackson.
I mean, the Michael Jackson play, the stage play that they have right
Yeah.
now is actually really, really dope too. Um, but no, I think. Man, that's a good one. I'm trying to think of video games that I would have liked to see. Ooh, I think Tomb Raider could be cool.
Ooh.
I think that could be really
And
cool.
then
I
we
think
can
that
make
has
her Laura Cruz like she used to be. Originally, she was supposed to be Latina.
mhm.
That could
You
be
could do
cool.
that. Somebody get Lin-Manuel Miranda on the phone. I think he would
No,
do that.
no, no, no. Keep him far away.
He's he's the
I want him to
principal
miss his
Latino
shot. I
of
want him to
the
miss his shot
theater.
this time. No, no. No, 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 make my shot. No, no.
Man, nah, he's the principal Latino of theater right now. You gotta let him do
Is
it.
he really the
Uh,
only person that's like the
no,
main?
no,
Like,
he's
who
just
else
the
is
most
out there? You know?
like
Like, Jesus, call
there.
somebody else's number.
I'm
No offense.
screaming.
Like,
There
I
are
like the guy.
definitely others. No, no, you're right. You're right. But he's the one that people know.
Yeah,
But let's see. I'm gonna invade your space.
go for it. Go for it. We got the fences up. We ready for you.
Do it, lady. Do
Do it,
it, lady.
lady. I feel like that whole series just it kind of reminds me of classic YouTube, classic like web series, early 2000s vibes, and I think that's why it kind
Oh
of
yeah.
took off so well.
Oh
Because it's
yeah.
so random. It
For sure.
popped up on my TikTok one day, and I was like, who is this?" It was my first thing was a black person here. Is there a black person here?"
Yeah,
And then from there, I just kept
that
watching
was
them.
the one from everybody. Yeah,
Yeah,
it just kept going. Is there a black person here? Is
let
there
me
a
put my
black person
sparkling
here?
down.
Put your sparkling down.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
the Chit show is really cool, and I'm glad that we have something like that that exists that is bringing
yeah,
different groups of people together and also just having fun. You know, it's just a silly show. It's not trying to be pretentious or try to, you know, sell you anything or give you a life lesson. It's just here. And sometimes you need that.
yeah.
Sometimes you need that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think it's cool to have like new and original stuff also.
Mhm.
Which is something you don't really see a lot of online right now. A lot of it is like recreations or reactions to things that are currently happening in pop culture or whatever. And like that has its place too, but I do find that when you have like original content,
Content.
original like, original works, like it definitely changes what is out there. Like it definitely like adds to the possibility, like it could be like people are more willing to do new things if they see that other people are having success with like original work.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not really seeing, like you said, a lot of originality because we've gotten into a culture of repetition and regurgitation
Mhm,
where it's just like if like literally because shit became popular, I've seen other people try to do the same thing. So you'll have something
mhm.
that is extremely successful and then everybody and their mama tries to do their own thing for it. And it was cool at first when it was like when TikTok first started and it was about like dancing and everybody's just trying to do a dance and that's cool. But then it's like now you're stealing my art. Now you're stealing my moves. Now you're stealing my aesthetic. Now you're stealing my name, my likeness. Because now with AI too, you got whole channels that are stealing your face and
Yeah.
slapping it on their own video, and they'll have you say anything and everything and call everybody but a child of God. You know what I'm saying? And now you gotta worry about this. There's like a lady right now that's battling another page because of that. She had to block them, but somehow they're still like getting her like image onto this thing, which is wild.
Mhm. There's been a lot of that going on. And it's kind of crazy because it's been happening for I don't know longer than I can even count. Not even just as AI, but like people coming in and like usurping people's like whole identities, thoughts, intellectual properties, so to speak, like just through Twitter, through like through a lot of places. I remember there was a whole thing about this influencer. Her name is Hey Friend Hey, and she had made a tweet back in like 2013, 2014. And I remember she was in a lawsuit with Urban Outfitters because they took her tweet and like put it on a shirt and were selling the shirt
Oh wow.
for, $40 a piece, and that was like very confusing because she was like, now how did y'all get this, like, and start posting it, and like nobody contacted me, like there was nothing, and she had like representation, she had, lawyers and all types of
Lawyer.
stuff,
Oh
so
wait, so that also begs the question in this conversation, because everything is so, this is brand new territory for all of us. What
mhm.
denotes a tweet that is protected by copyright law and just integrity in general? Because like I feel like when you're tweeting things out, and and this is been a discussion that's been going on for years now, especially for comedians specifically. They'll write jokes on
Mhm.
Twitter, and it's like, okay, you tweeted something, you posted something, but then it's like a lot of people see that as just you rambling off, because a lot of people ramble off and those things do get regurgitated and taken. But it's like, at that point, when do you lose ownership as the original author, and does it even count because it's on this particular platform instead of like your book or in a play or in a movie or in something that is actually out and like published and in the world as a product, or a work of
Yeah,
art?
I wish I knew, because I'm still trying to figure that out now, because I know a lot of people who are designers that have gotten their stuff taken and, Shein mass produced off of, them posting and something being really popular, like posting a dress that they made or
Well, that's
something that
different because
they
that's a dress. Like I can see
I mean,
someone going to bat for a design they created, like an actual physical thing, versus like, oh, I just said LOL Trump sucks, and now that's on a T-shirt, and it's like, hey, I wrote that, Like there's
mhm.
like, that's what I'm saying, is like it's weird because when do we draw the line with that? Because like for me, and I guess this is, I don't know how to really articulate it. For me, like if I were to put a drawing out and someone stole that, I feel like I have a right to say something. If you put a new design out, a hat, dress, scarf, whatever, I feel like you have a right to say that. But then it's like, if someone just does like a random tweet and it's just popular and they weren't even thinking about it, then is it okay for them to just go like super crazy now because it's stolen and people are making money off of it?
Well, there are a lot of poets that post on these apps, like they'll make like maybe one or two blurbs here or there that aren't necessarily like full poetry, but they are
Mm-hmm.
still their ideas or their thoughts. Like, do they not have a say? You know what I mean? Like, do people who use their platform like as a place to, vocalize certain opinions or certain thoughts and ideas, do they not get a say?
Isn't that what blogs are
Of
for
the stuff?
though? I feel like if I'm writing poetry, then it for me, and this is me, my perspective. I'm not trying to say like everybody should be doing this or any Arthur author should be doing it. But I feel like if I'm publishing something in that way, then it should come in a different context or form where it doesn't seem as, because people still, regardless, doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
do. But I think when you put something on Threads or Blue Sky or Twitter, people don't really see it as like a thing unless you are quoting it or screenshotting it or uploading it as a specific type of file or other piece of material. So that's why it's hard for me to even comprehend it myself, because it's like, if someone were to take one of my threads, I post on Threads all the time, someone were to take one of my things and then it's
Mhm.
like blowing up on X, Twitter X, I'd
Yeah.
be upset, but I don't think I would have like a legal right to be like, "Hey, you can't put that on a shirt," because it's like, that was just like some garbage shit I wrote at 3 a.m. Now, if it was something critical that I wanted to do, then I would have that also in my art. Like it would be quoted somewhere in my art, so that way it's more protected. Like if I put out a line that I want to put in Sweaty Minds, it's now in Sweaty Minds, and I have the proof because I wrote it in different apps before I even put it up on Twitter or Threads or whatever. I don't know. It's just it feels so
Yeah.
flimsy to me in that way.
I mean, I don't know the law, so I couldn't tell you what is or is not protected in that vein. I definitely should start learning more about about that, but you know, I I don't know. I think people have a right to, feel or to feel how they feel. So,
Oh yeah,
for lack of
absolutely.
a better word. But I also think, if there is something to, them having maybe like in the instance of Hey Friend Hey, she is a speaker. Like she doesn't always do like blogging and things, but she was also doing things in like the art space. She had a podcast, has a podcast. She was a blogger for a long time. So like those things had already been a thing. And also her space on Twitter was kind of seen as like an influencer space. So, I don't really know how that works in terms of the law, but I think at a certain point, anything that she was tweeting or posting kind of becomes her intellectual property in that way because she was using those platforms to generate money anyway.
Then I think we need to recontextualize and rewrite how copy. We need to update what copyright means in the
Oh
context
yeah,
of
for
social
sure.
media. Because on default, like if you were to put something like all these drawings that you're making right now, those are yours, right? Like this little flower, the mushrooms and stuff. Now, if you wanted
Hmm.
to, sell that and put on a shirt and all that, you cool. If I wanted to do that, I would have to come to you, right? Like I
Yeah.
could just put it on a shirt and do whatever I want, but legally, if you wanted to attack me, you could because you just made that and you generated that from your own body, your brain. You were the sole creator of that, and that's how it works on default, like at the base
Hmm.
level. So it's like if we're in this new world of social media posting and regurgitation and whatnot, we have to re-examine how this works so that people do get credit where credit is due and they get the money where it's deserved, and also so that people aren't taking what they've put together and just do whatever they want with it, like protecting
Oh
that.
yeah, absolutely.
But we're not
I
in that
agree.
space yet, because we've seen it, when TikTok was first starting, you had all those black kids, young girls doing the dances, and then here comes, a little suburban white girl doing the same thing, and now she's on Jimmy Kimmel. That was like one of the
Mhm.
biggest things for I think like the early years of TikTok when it first blew up, like 2020, 2021 or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, we got to
I
look
think that
back at that
particular
and
thing was
see,
2019.
okay, how can we make this get this protected, especially for the black creators.
Yeah. I think it is in the works. I don't think it is fully fleshed out, but I do think that there are people currently working on those legislations and those laws as we are talking. You know, it's not fully cemented, but it is happening. I don't think it's like a one and done conversation though,
Wait,
for sure.
did you ever see All My
So,
Block?
mhm.
Why does Loki look like that girl?
Who
The one that was loud and
has
sassy.
strange
I did not realize. I looked
It
down. I was
looks
like,
like
that
an
low
Ed,
key
Ed.
looked like her, huh?
Yeah. I said it looked like an Ed, Ed, and Eddie version of her.
Yeah. Oh my god. I
That's
felt
so
bad
funny.
for her character, man. They always shitted on her. I don't like that when they do that in stories where you have the really good friend who's just a little bit too extra and they just make them, the butt of the joke all the time when they really just mean well. They're not even trying to cause you harm. Like I hated that with and she wrote it herself too, but Natasha Rothwell's character in Insecure. You know, like
Mhm.
all these other women were like highly successful and doing their thing, and then because she's like the fat one, she's like the butt of the joke. Like that one episode where she gets tased and pisses herself at the carnival, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say she made herself the butt of the joke in a lot of that, but she was more successful than Issa. Like that was something that was highlighted a lot. Like she was a financial planner and
but we
everything.
didn't get to
And
see that. You get what I'm saying? Like we got to see Molly's life. We even got to see Amanda Seal's character life more than like we didn't really see Kelly until the final season when she was dating that guy. And most of the time we saw Kelly, she was just saying like silly stuff and then she disappeared like a genie.
oh yeah, no, Kelly was definitely not the main character of Insecure. And I think it was funny because she was a fan favorite for a lot of people
Yeah.
because even though she said off the wall stuff a lot, like she also had um real presence
Growth.
when she had something to say. Yeah.
Growth.
Like the things that she said were all oftentimes what stuck with a lot of the fans. As a fan of Insecure who still watches it like oh, not every day, but a lot, I
Mm.
think about how people actually wanted a spinoff with like specifically for Kelly. Like people were begging Issa to make a Kelly spinoff
Issa
for a
ain't doing
while.
that shit.
Issa's not doing that. No.
Issa ain't doing shit with them
She said
people.
that's cute. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. She got that money and was out, fam.
I think it's so interesting because like I know that oh, this is lopsided. What's it called? Abbott is soon to close and
Oh, you
disappear
think
in a
so?
similar yeah. That there
Like one more season?
it's I think we got like one more season coming.
Mm.
And I think Quinta's gonna be done because she's talked about like how even though the show is doing well, like there is also like she's tired of this particular story
Yeah.
and she also wants to do other things. And it's like, yeah, I get that. Get back in that writer's room. Like,
Yeah, no,
please don't
I
let us.
definitely see that because there's only so much you can do with Abbott Elementary. It's a very
Yeah,
family friendly, kid focused show, and you can't really
yeah,
do deep and heavy storylines or horror. You can do light versions of that, and they have. Even that
yeah.
crossover with Always Sunny in Philadelphia was pretty. It was bending the rules a little bit, but yeah, I can see why she would want to get out of there. I kind of miss because I used to be a strong, staunch advocate of like, oh yeah, I'm fine with 13 episodes, or I'm fine with like short seasons and da da da. Da. But I miss when like you would have 22 episode, 24 episode seasons, and you had like the break, and then you build up the hype to come back, and you just have
Mhm.
like then you have like the filler episodes where you kind of do like a side mission with like one of the lesser known or less favorite characters. Now they become like a crowd favorite because you've seen that. You would get that in like Boy Meets World, Family Matters, all these different spaces. But now it's
Yeah,
like you get in and you get out, and it's like
yeah.
it was cool when a few shows was doing that, but now
But now it's
every single
every
show is doing
show.
that, whether it's on
Yeah.
TV
And it
or an
gets
app.
and it's like every show is 8 episodes. Every episode is like 45 minutes long. And it's like, we don't have to do that, guys. We could make a little bit of, you could give us like a 30-minute quick one and then, let us get excited for the next thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I don't know how I feel about the way things are going in media right now. I wish we could have more of the things that we actually enjoy, but I also understand like, giving people rest and giving people a break is necessary as well.
Yeah. I just I just wish there was a middle ground because I do. So
Yeah.
I'm noticing now that a lot of the streamers are going back to the week by week model. versus
Mhm.
dumping everything at once, because I think they realized that they weren't getting the metrics they wanted and they weren't getting the hype that they wanted, because they would drop something and then everybody binges it in one day. Like Stranger Things last season, they dropped that all in one go. I got up at
Mhm.
6 a.m. Nigga, I was up at 6 a.m. watching the whole thing, and I was done by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not good for anybody. You
No.
know, that's not good for the person watching. That's not good for the network. That's not good for the people that work on the show, because the people that work on these shows don't get paid enough. There was a whole documentary that came out, and I never got to watch it, where they were talking about how, because they're making things in such a short amount of time with short episodes and dropping it all at once, they're not getting the royalties, they're not getting all the extra little knickknacks and benefits that you would if this was like a cable TV show. So I want a middle ground, because I like the week to week. I think that's good. I just don't like it
Yeah.
when we gotta wait 3 years for something to come back.
Yeah. And I mean, like, with Stranger Things, now the kids are old. Like, all the kids are like, they're doing that thing where, teenagers were being played by like 20 somethings back in
Now, hold
the
on.
90s.
I'm gonna shoot them some bail, because Grease.
Yes,
Think of every single 80s and 90s show that had
they were
grown ass
all
people
40.
playing high schoolers. Them kids still look like kids, and
Uh,
they
yeah,
do.
yeah, they do, definitely. But it's like, you know, certain things about them in general now. Like, you're like, yeah, this should have been like season 5 should have been years ago, but I understand why it wasn't. I know like it
Yeah,
had to do with COVID and also writer strikes. Like there was other things that led up to the pause. It's kind of similar with Euphoria, like the fact that we're getting Euphoria so much later. Like the
yeah,
storyline is so much later. We've also lost a cast member uh like in the middle of this, so like one of the favorites of the series can't be in the show anymore because he's not here.
yeah.
But like it's I get it. It's also just like it's very unfortunate when we have to take such long spaces in between these
Mm.
productions, you know.
Yeah, because I would have liked Stranger Things to have wrapped up when it was supposed to, because I'm pretty sure there were so many things that probably would have gone on in the story had it went straight into season 5, like it was supposed to. And then we have this big gap, and now you have to make up a time skip and change how this new thing comes out. And we've seen that in different areas too, whether it's, uh drama series, comedy series, even films. Some movies come out way later than they're supposed to, or that we expect them to, and it lots of things change. And then you have like that little DVD commentary where it's like, yeah, the original concept. Like, shut up! I don't want to hear about the original concept because you ain't release it.
Right. We're so far past that now.
Yeah, I just hope one day that they drop all the seasons on physical. So the first two are on DVD and Blu-ray for Stranger
Okay.
Things, but the other ones aren't yet. At least I don't even know if they
Cool.
have plans to do that. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I want more physical media in general.
That's what I've been doing lately. Not too much though, because I don't have that much room in here. But like
Yeah.
certain things, I'll go on. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do want that. Like there was this show I used to watch. I'm just watching you draw now. This show I used to watch called Chuck, with a now disgraced actor, Zachary Levy or Levi, however you want to pronounce it. But that was one of my favorite shows coming up, and they took it off of, I forgot what it was on. I think it was on Netflix at one point, and it was on a different I think it was on Amazon at one point, and they just took it off of both. And I'm like, there's nowhere for
Mm.
me to watch it. That was one of my favorite things. I used to do like a yearly rewatch of the show, and I would like binge it
Oh
like
wow.
all the seasons. But then it was like, oh yeah, Chunk is being removed. I'm like, oh my god. So it's like, yeah, we need to find ways to distribute these things. I know some people, they have suggested alternative means to acquire these things, and
Oh
put
yes,
them
of
on,
course.
discs and whatnot. But not everybody can do that, and not everybody wants to risk it. So We got to figure out
Yeah.
some way to get it out there to preserve the
I
art.
re yeah. I really just want at this point, I just want Living Single, all 5
I
seasons.
think that's out. I think
They
that already
have
exists.
You have to buy it, like, individually, though.
What?
I Yeah, they don't have, like, the box set. I haven't been able to get the box set. That's what I want.
Um,
Just the
Tell them
full
hit up Erica Alexander on the podcast and be like, "Hey, put in every
You're
time they put
so
up an
right.
episode, just put in the comments, we want Living Single box set." Every comment, and they're gonna be like,
Beauty box
"There's
set.
some crazy girl in the comment section every episode. She wants us to put it out there." I'm like, "Guess what, y'all? We're doing it." And then you'll be the sole reason, and
And
we
you
can
know what?
congratulate you.
I might give that a shot. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes that stuff works when people see
Sometimes it
comments
works.
over and over again, and they see like people actually want something. They'll do it. It's not guaranteed every single time, but I've seen it happen across different little areas. But
Yeah,
they
it's a
just
whole
released re-released Mad Men on HBO Max in 4K, and it's like, why
yeah.
isn't that on Blu-ray? Like, why didn't y'all do that for the physical thing? And then there's like a whole controversy now because apparently they messed up, and there's like a scene where one of the guys, like the production guys, is in the shot, like big time, like in the shot, like you can see him clear as day, full
Cool.
body with the gadget he's using. I'm just like, oh, y'all didn't put this through QA or nothing. You
Yeah,
just wanted to throw it out there.
nobody. Nobody went back and double checked.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I did see an article on Wired that was talking about it. I didn't even get to read it all the way through, but they were like, "It's mastered worse than just putting it out." And I was like, "Maybe, I don't know." But the scenes that they were showing had to do with like The Simpsons, because The Simpsons had a remastered edition put out, and they were saying that it like chopped off some of the scenery and like that kind of ruined certain jokes. And I
Yeah.
was like, nah, I get that.
It
Yeah,
happened with
if you're
Seinfeld too. They did a
Mhm.
remaster and put it on Netflix because a lot of the old shows they filmed it in a different aspect ratio. So that was 4:3, and then they're trying to stretch
Mhm.
everything out to 16:9, which is like the default for us now. But because it's stretched out, or they're trying to crop it or zoom it in, you are losing a lot of that quality, or losing a lot of the gags or visual things that they actually cared to put on. So it's hard because you want to see things in higher quality, especially if it's older, but you don't want to also ruin the integrity of what the original was supposed to be. A
Yeah.
perfect example of that though in the animation world, Fleischer Cartoons. These are the people that these this was the studio that was responsible for like Betty Boop and Popeye and stuff like that. They've been doing like 4K remasters of a lot of their old like lost media style cartoons, and if you saw the originals you'd be like, yeah, y'all needed this shit look raggedy, bro. You can't even see nothing. And that's been a
It
great
looked
example
raggedy.
of that. I'll show you some later. But that's been a great
Yeah.
example of that, where it's just like you can tell there was a great deal of care that went into it. There was a love for it. It wasn't just like, oh, let's just do this and put it through the AI and like upscale it like they did with Different World. They said, let's go meticulously through this thing frame by frame and make sure that like this is as fresh as it was the first day it came out. And I think that's great.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I like when people put more intentional, um, like more intentionality into the works, especially with stuff like that, because they also realize they have like a fan following. Like there's a cult following for like Betty Boop and certain older cartoons of that era, and like it would be a shame to ruin the quality of it because you put it through some AI generator and was like, yeah, just fix it. And the prompt is just like, yeah, make it cute.
Yeah. And I love that we're seeing a resurgence of people that want the physical media. They want to preserve a lot of what we've, lost or are losing. And I think there has been some legislation in regards to that being pushed forward thanks to the Wayback Machine and the Internet Archive, because they're one of the biggest groups that are
Mhm,
actually putting like digital media together in that sense.
mhm,
Um because now, like, even for me, one of my biggest hobbies, as most people know, is playing video games, right? If I'm not outside going to museums, I'm inside the house playing video games. And there are so many games that I've played growing up, whether it was on the Sega Genesis, whether it was GameCube, Xbox 360, that we don't have access to legally or easily,
Mhm.
you know? And then what ends up happening is that, a lot of these companies have become very greedy in a sense where instead of just putting it out there and releasing it for a reasonable price, they'll do a whole remaster and now you're paying like $40 for it. And sometimes a lot of these remasters aren't even worth it anymore. Like it used like the one I'm playing right now is Metroid Prime Remastered. That's amazing. I love that. But there have been other ones where it's just like they just spit on it and just wiped some dirt. And then it's like, hey, here, damn, y'all want this? Y'all want to play it? Here, y'all gonna eat it anyway.
That's
Don't you can't stop me, you know. And
right.
Nintendo's been the main one to do that. Nintendo and I think some of the PlayStation games have been like that, and it sucks
Oh yeah.
because people want to play. Like I get it, they want people to buy new games. They want people to keep buying and keep investing and stuff. But like you could still make mad. You know how many people would shell out $5 to $10 to play the old Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow on their Switch? To play
Yes.
to play
Me.
Smash Brothers Melee from the GameCube, like people would buy that. Now, don't
Yeah.
charge nothing crazy for it, but people would buy it. They would make mad money off of that. If Nintendo was like, we're releasing a full library right now, you could play it on your Switch and Switch 2. They would be the biggest, richest company out of all of them because they have the most
Yeah.
like nostalgic library, I think, out of most of the major three, the big three.
I think it would be cool to do like archival like releases, be like, this is the like Nintendo archives or something like that.
But they do that, but then they fuck it up. So like they did that
Yeah.
2-3 years ago. They released this 3-pack. It was Mario Sunshine, Mario 64, Mario Galaxy. They charged
Mm,
like I guess I would say a decent price for it, but it lacked a lot of features that people would have hoped for, and they only had it out for like a month. So if you didn't buy it, you don't have it. And it's like, what are y'all doing? And
yeah.
it's like even with TV shows too, a lot of the stuff like old stuff, you're not going to find it on physical. You're going to at most you'll probably find it on
Yeah.
YouTube
You
at
have to, or
most.
you have to get it on somebody's streaming platform now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
But I just hope at the end of the day we can create a better world for just art overall, whether it's through preservation, whether it's through funding for newer projects, and creating a lifestyle that we strip the stigma from, right? Because I'm sure everybody watching this right now, and even you can say it, and also me, we've all been in spaces, whether it's with family or like regular, everyday people, and they're like, oh, you do art? Oh, that's cool. Do you make money? And it's like, why is this constantly a thing? It shouldn't be a thing. This whole starving artist mindset, this woe is me mindset, or this struggle mindset, or any of this, because it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Most of the time I'm getting the, "Oh, you be doing fashions? You be doing
Fashions with
fashions?"
an S.
Like that's
We always add an S. I'm going to
oh
Subways.
yeah, Subway, Barnes& and Nobles, you know? Yeah, my family or, like, people I'm around is usually like, "Oh, because you do fashion," and I'm like, "Sure," that's what we'll call it today, but yeah, or they'll be like, "Yeah, because you be sewing stuff or you be making costumes, so you could just sew this up for me real quick, like, you could just do that," and I'll be like, when I actually am in as a doing tailoring things, like when I'm actually a tailor, I get paid for that. Like that is one of
Pay?
the many
I gotta
activities.
pay
Yeah.
you? I'm your cousin.
Right.
I used to change your diaper.
Right.
What
And
you
I'd be
mean?
like, there are a few that'll be like, okay, how much? And I'm like, listen, I'll do this. And even with the friends and family discount, it's still a good deal because if you took this to the cleaners, they'd be charging you an arm and a leg or whatever. But then there are some people that are like, they just kind of just drop stuff off and they're like, yeah, you got it. And I'm like, okay, you're not gonna see this for however long I have it until you come back. Like, and even when you come back, I'm probably still not gonna do it because you didn't ask nice. You were just like, you got it. I think that's like the most annoying thing about like doing what I do is like people just assume that I have the time or the energy to do those things because sewing is a lot. Like it takes a lot to do tailoring. It takes a lot to do like cut and sew from the beginning to the end.
That's
Like
the thing though,
it's
like every art form requires a great deal of experience and discipline that people don't see.
mhm,
It's like we don't see air, but we still know it exists. But for others, when they don't see the art in progress or the process of it, it's just like, oh,
mm,
you snapped your fingers or you wiggled your nose
and
like
there
Bewitched, and then boom, it was there. And it's
I
like,
wish.
no, like you have to source the materials. I'm using your word. You had to source the materials. You had to do research, whatever you're doing. You gotta take time to map everything out, plan it out. On top of the fact that you're dealing with your emotions and your mood too. We're not. A lot of people want
Mhm,
artists to be like very like rigid. It's like get up 9 to 5, go to bed, eat. You know, and it's like that's not how that works.
yeah,
I think I do personally honestly think that we're wired differently from the average person because what we do
for
is
sure.
dictated off of our mood. There are times where we have to pull up our pants and do what we got to do, but I think majority of what we do is dictated by our mood. There have been times where like I haven't finished something because I just don't feel like doing it right now, or like I'm not in that headspace, and it will take me
Yeah,
like a few weeks or a month to get back to it. And I'm sure it's the very same when you're making fashion or you're tailoring something, you know. And obviously, like I said, if someone's paying you to do something, you got to set your deadline and all that stuff, and you got to get on it. But
yeah,
we're wired different, and I wish there was a way for people to see that without it being a judgmental thing and without it being something that's just
yeah,
like, what's wrong with you? Or, well, I gotta get up at 4 a.m. and lug logs down to the quarry and chop them with my teeth and then blah blah blah, you
right.
know. And I'm not disrespecting blue collar workers. I think they are the backbone of this country. I think everybody that has a job is important and integral to our thriving and growing society, but I do believe there are differences here and different levels that we have to fit in, and what you do and what I do don't need to be the same for you to understand or have compassion for it.
Oh, absolutely. I think there was a point where artists in society had just as important a role, um, especially from like a crafting standpoint, like people that sewed, people that made pottery, people that like, did random wood carvings or whatever. Like most of the most of the artists in different societies at one point were like the ceremony people. Like we were in charge of things for spiritual ceremony, for like big things happening within our culture. And that's usually what, you see throughout history, what you see in like anthropological study is like the artifacts that we find are from artists, from artisans, from people that have like done the most at like channeling our emotions and expressing them and like tying it back to what was happening in our culture in those time periods and even now. But I do think that we often get overlooked. uh, I think it's so funny because now, especially with like manufacturing, with like mass production sort of things, people are expecting things to be quick, fast. And like when you explain, okay, this is a process, this is how we got here, like as a person that makes clothes, like this isn't Amazon, like this isn't Sheen, this is just me by myself. I didn't like this garment didn't start to finish from like me maybe like throwing a drawing out there and then somebody else making the pattern, somebody else like putting the buttons on or putting the like pockets on or whatever. Like it's me. So now I have to do all of those
You
steps.
know, it's so
Versus
crazy. I just saw a video, this guy, a blue collar worker, and he was complaining about what you just talked about. There's this brand called Carhartt, and it's supposed to be for like
Mhm.
rugged work, and it takes a while to break in. Some white girl from wherever bought this and was like, how do I like break this in faster? And he said that what's going to happen if this continues is that Carhartt is
It's
not
gonna
going to
make our heart
care, and they're
expensive.
going to make fast fashion versions of their apparel and their clothing, and it's not going to be as good as it used to be. And then boom, we're in like this shitty version of a brand that was a legacy for so many hardworking people.
That's basically what happened with Champion. Like,
I didn't know
and
that.
not only is like not only does it make it they make fast fashion versions of it, but because of the influx of people that buy it, it becomes more expensive. So it becomes less accessible and shittier quality. Like there's
So
it's
go
yeah.
ahead.
What was your question? No, go
No,
ahead.
so what can we do to get back to that era of like actual tailored, refined, quality clothing where when you go get something, you know that when you take it home and wear for like the next 3, 4 weeks, it's not going to fall apart on you.
I mean, I think people need to that's a personal conversation a lot of the time. I think for me, I talk to family members and friends and stuff about like buying fast fashion and like buying things that they actually need versus like just random bits and bobs, just to look cute. I've been overthinking about this for a long, long time. And I think a lot of the time, like, I'm just like ranting to the people in my community about it. And it's so funny because people will be like, oh, yeah, I got this from Shein. And I was like, and I'll like roll my eyes. People are like, what do you got against Shein? I'm like, so much. So much actually is what I have against Shein. But a big thing right now is like in terms of consumerism, when it comes to fashion, most people are buying things because they're cheap, and it's plentiful. Like the reason that you get Sheen is because you want to look cute, you want to look good, but you don't want to pay like for you don't want to pay a lot. You want to be able to buy things and be like you just want to look presentable in the moment for whatever reason. And a lot of people aren't thinking about like the longevity of their clothing. They're not thinking about taking it past just one particular moment or like one event. Most people buy clothes for events and then they don't use them after that. Like I know that especially this is going to be so interesting, but like for black women, I notice that a lot with black women. We tend to buy things for vacations, we buy things for birthday parties, we buy things for um you know family functions, like events, but not necessarily things that kind of expand our wardrobes or like actually not dictate, but like express personal style. There are people in that are into fashion, so to speak, that do that and that do go that route and are like talk about their personal style and like tailor it to what is in their wardrobe and like actually have that understanding. But for the majority of people, they're just trying to look good in the moment. And then they don't really have the conversation about like what my wardrobe can do for me. Like, what is the story that I'm telling every day? Most people go to work and then go home, or like go to work and then go home or go to the club or whatever, and then that is kind of the extent of what they're doing, and so they're thinking about like the in the moment sort of thing. And so I've been thinking about this a lot, as you can tell.
Yeah.
um like I've been wanting to talk about this in a way that fully gets my point across without being like, oh, you shouldn't buy XYZ fast fashion. But it's like I think everything has its place. I think there's like moderation for a
Microplastics
lot
have
of
their
these things.
place.
No, not hey, hey, hey. I mean like in terms of what you need to buy, what you should be thinking about like in the grand scheme of things, because unfortunately there's like not a real slowdown that I can see happening in the fashion world, in the manufacturing world. People tend to do thrifting nowadays, but even that is slowly starting to get more and more um I can't think of the word, but like it's starting to fall apart quality wise as well. Like certain people are vintage shopping and then like finding vintage Forever 21, you know what I mean? Like they're still like it's considered vintage because it's more than 20 years, like it's over 20 years old, you know what I mean? Like those things are like where we're at in the fashion realm right now. You're seeing Shein pieces in thrift stores and it's like this doesn't even make sense anymore. You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
probably bought that or you probably got it for free because of the way that their product model is set up, where you buy like two or three things and then they like fill your cart with other stuff. Like that's how the hauls keep happening, is people are like getting things for so cheap that they just continuously buy more and more and more, and that shaves on the shipping costs and all of that other stuff. And it just it's a lot right now. It's a lot, and it's too much.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, and it's something that I try to think about too when I go out to buy things. I've bought things from Shin before I knew it was like a problem, and there have been
Mhm.
some pieces that I've thrown away because the quality was really bad, or like they started to smell in a way that I couldn't wash it out because there's like different
Mhm.
materials that are being used. So it's a huge it's a huge problem that we have to solve among the many other problems we have going on in our world. But Jasmine, I want to thank you for coming on to the show, and I appreciated all of your knowledge and insight into theater, into costuming, and into fashion. And I would love to talk about this for another like 5 hours, but we don't want people sitting here breaking their necks, just sitting here listening to us the whole time. But before we go, three questions for you. What cartoon character do you think has the best fashion?
Mm. Ooh. Okay. I'm trying to think.
Rapid fire.
Okay, so so Totally Spies for sure.
Hmm.
I think the girls know the Winx Club.
Hmm.
That one was a big fashionista moment for me. Uh, let's see. And this is so Lizzie McGuire's little
Oh
cartoon
yeah,
person.
yeah,
I thought that was so cool, and I wish that she had, like, more opportunities to, like, dress up in different things. Like, she had her, like, signature little two-piece set, but I think it would've been so fire to have, like, a fashion doll
yeah.
of the Lizzie McGuire talking head. Like, I think that would've been so cool.
Cool. Question two, rapid fire. Dream play the work on.
Screenplay to work on, The Wiz. That's, like, my all in all, and, like, if there's any time where I can actually be a part of it at some point. Like, Andy, call me, let me know. I will definitely hop in there and do some costuming. I would love to.
And number three, what fashion designer, anyone in the industry that you admire, do you think cooks the best food?
That I think cooks the best food. Ooh. Uh, I don't think any of them cook. I'm gonna be so real. I don't think any of them have touched the stove in a while.
Not Anna Wintour, not Vera Wang, not.
Please, please. They
If
don't
Virgil
even
was
know
still
it
here, you don't
to
think he
make
could throw something down on the
okay.
grill or something? Not even a little burger?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know if Virgil knew where his kitchen was. We're
Oh
not
shoot.
I
That's
can't
crazy. Why you
I
talk why you got them people
can't.
like that? That's crazy.
No, you know who I think? I think Ruth Carter can probably cook.
Okay.
Yeah, but, sh that's the only one. That's the only one I think she could cook. Everybody else, I'm a little skeptical about what they
All
bring
right,
to
we going to Aunt
Thanksgiving.
Ruth's house. We're going to Aunt Ruth's house for
We
sure.
gonna go to yeah,
But Jasmine, thank you again for your insight, your knowledge, and just this great conversation. We'll definitely have you back on the show again for sure. And for those who
absolutely.
are listening and watching, where can the people find you? What's going on with the socials and stuff? What's happening? Where can we find you?
All of my things are currently under construction, but I'm always on Instagram. My stories are entertaining to me. You can find me on Instagram at Feisty Girl Jazz, Feisty. That's how you spell feisty. Girl, as in girl, jazz, two Z's.
Dang, I feel like I might have spelled it wrong, but you heard it here first, folks. Go find her on Instagram, watch some stories. But until next time, stay rad, stay dope, stay gold, stay true, and stay you. We out. Deuces.